So Talk El Paso at Talk El Paso on Twitter, the channel on YouTube, and over on Twitch at Andrew J. Polk, because why not here? So, a lot to talk about here today, including some latest developments going on with those election law challenges, would probably be the best way to put it here. Not unanticipated, as was, well, we've talked about that for a minute now, because we have that next election coming up, even as we're still dealing with, kind of the aftermath, regrouping on the part of probably some local organizations, and particularly the Kenya 2 Independent School District, but we're in the midst of that one, still in technically the certification period, absolutely. But John Browson's tuning us in there. Let us know about an audio. Let us know if that's a little bit better over on the Facebook page. But point being that we have on the horizon, and there are more. Well, it was kind of built in because we have those primary election dates now being set for early March of next year. Yes, we are almost upon that here. And there was instruction coming out from the Secretary of State, at least for now, for localities, municipalities, to expect it to move forward with that, again, for now. But there has now been not too long before our show here today, that we did have the Justice Department filing a lawsuit against State of Texas to protect voting rights. Well, that's the name of their article anyway, coming out. Also, as an official tweet from the Justice Department, and now we have a Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton responding back that Biden is coming after Texas for SB1, as it came to be known after all that kerfuffle and the multiple special sessions that ended up addressing it. That little bit of fun that we had over the summer in the year of the Texas legislature, when we had most state, particularly in the House, ending up leaving the state, decamping to D.C. The whole saga that ultimately didn't really do that much. It was quite the story. It was quite the ride there. But given that there was it's frankly a symptom of the larger issues going on nationally, with the party in power at the moment seeming to have some dysfunction. Really, they're coming down with a couple of people that they are unhappy with. But that's exactly what happened here when it comes to these laws. So coming out of this, that SB1, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton saying that it's a great and much-needed bill, ensuring Texas has safe, secure, and transparent elections is a top priority of mine. I will see you in court, Biden. So, drawing down specifically against the administration there. But it has been notable that actually El Paso has been brought up as one of the areas that might be looked at, or more specifically with the Texas 23rd Congressional District, might be one that it might be a focus of some of these filings and whatnot. So that would impact us here because, of course, the 23rd Congressional District had a bit of expansion in our area. Some debate over whether that counts as cracking or packing. The sum total of it is that El Paso's district had to change because we didn't have as much population proportionally growth as the rest of the state. So the issues were going to happen there. But so that's entirely possible coming out of these next. And redistricting as well. So all of this stuff, all is in conjunction. So primarily this suit coming from the Justice Department focusing on SB1, but there's more possible as well. So stay tuned for that. We're going to take that break here a little bit early because we are coming up with also John Browson chiming in again as we're having maybe some issues with the stream here, but you can always find us over on ktsmradio.com if you still want to stay online. But we do have other things we're going to be discussing here today, including the fact that we are in November, and yes, you may have seen the announcements that we have some Christmas music starting from some of our sister stations sooner rather than later. More on that if you really want to know. But I still think of Thanksgiving in mind here, so we're going to be talking about an event coming up here involving local charity organization, and a little bit about how that relates to some of the larger issues we've talked about, including supply chains and more. So all of that and more coming up after this break with more Talk El Paso here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Stay tuned, back after this break with more. And more comments on the line there as well. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, all that. Talking about all the issues that affect us here in the borderland on Talk El Paso 690 KTSM. In talk things, you need to have the energy to. It has been much talk about low energy individuals not making good points out there. You don't want to be that. So something that I do to avoid the low energy status, really at this point, towards the end of the day, when we are wondering, well, okay, what exactly am I have to deal with, and do I have the energy to do it? To avoid all of that, what I look for is Clever tea, or more specifically, because I like it in the pre-made bottles, sweetened with just the right amount of monk fruit, but however you get it, in boxes or bottles, their Oolong Wise blend, made with that oolong tea, coconut, pineapple, hibiscus, eucalyptus, hawthorn berry, and cinnamon. It's a delicious blend that comes together very well, and again, has just the right kick for me that leaves me energized, but also able to be focused and not jittery. The sugary drinks are great and all for a party, but if you really want to get stuff done and really be able to get through your day, it's not what I go for. This is what I do. You can find them online at clevertea.com, where if you when you're checking out, enter the code radio15, you can get a discount on your next order. So again, clevertea.com, that's KLEVRT, as in the stuff that you drink, clevertea.com, enter the code radio15 at checkout, and you can get your discount on your own box and support local. And again, clevertea.com.
Traffic all day. News Radio C.
Look out for some traffic on Lee Trevino Drive northbound between Rojas and Vista del Sol. Also, there's some heavy traffic on Zaragoza northbound between Harris and Montwood Drive. And there's an accident to look out for on Montana Avenue just east of McRae Boulevard. Roadway is...
And
oh my God!
Win one.
The Charlie Clark Automotive Group.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. During Lowe's Provember event, new members of their Pro Loyalty program get a welcome kit via mail, and every member gets a chance to win amazing prizes. Provember, now through November 24th. Lowe's, the new home for pros.
Near historical low mortgage rates won't last long. If you're buying a new home, go with a lender you can count on for competitive rates, low fees, over 300 loan products, and thousands of loan consultants to help make sure you get the home you want. Call now for your no-obligation pre-approval. 866-888-LOAN. 866-888-LOAN. Or go to loandepot.com. Loan Depot, where home means everything. Rates are subject to change. Equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 174457. Licensed in all 50 states.
Obsessed with true crime? Join Leah Lamar and Teddy Mellencamp for Real Time Crime, an iHeartRadio original podcast dedicated to armchair detectives. Embark on a quest to unravel unsolved mysteries and delve into current criminal trials in real time.
Why do I obsess over true crime? It's because I need to know every detail, because they say that the devil's in the details.
Listen to Real Time Crime on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Brought to you by DuckDuckGo. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo.
New on Curiosity Stream. After man landed on the moon, what did all the rocket scientists do?
Hey, let's build a rocket that is simple in concept.
Pushing technology in ways that make today's rockets possible. It's Fly Rocket Fly. And one Mexican drug lord made himself a household name with cunning and savvy.
His business sense is worthy of a Harvard degree.
It's the origin of El Chapo and the CEO of Sinaloa. They're new this week on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are just $20. Visit curiositystream.com.
News Radio 690 KTSM El Paso.
We talk a lot about the information that you need to keep in mind as you go about your day to stay on top of the latest issues and what affects you and us here in the borderland. Another thing you could do to stay informed and be a smart consumer of, among other things, healthcare is by tuning into the Medical Hackers with Dr. Sandeep Rao, board-certified vascular interventionalist, every Saturday at noon right here on News Radio 690 KTSM. He helps you navigate our complex medical system with those healthcare hacks. Hacks in a positive sense here, meaning about helping you stay on top of the latest medical innovations and so much more. You can also submit your own questions by emailing rao@medicalhackers.com. That's RAO@medicalhackers.com. And be sure to tune in this Saturday, right after the El Paso History Radio Show at noon on News Radio 690 KTSM for the Medical Hackers with Dr. Sandeep Rao.
From the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. Follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Welcome back here to Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be doing so, on air, online, live streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the social media pages, including Facebook.com/Talk El Paso, on the YouTube channel Talk El Paso, Twitter @Talk El Paso, and Twitch @Andrew J. Polk. So a lot of things we've been talking about here today, but of course we are in the lead up to the holiday season here. And that means that a lot of focus is going to be happening on a lot of, Christmassy, holiday season type things. But at the same time, local businesses are absolutely a focus here, but also local charitable events. So to talk about kind of the intersection of all of that here, we are joined now by Michael Tipton, events manager with the Alzheimer's Association, and Dan Morales, founder of Thrive 915. Thank you all very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, man. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. We've talked with you all a bit before on kind of both of these efforts that you all have going on, but not necessarily together like this. So excited to have you all on to talk about this. So there is more specifically an event coming up that is kind of the focus of all of this, and that is going to be the 3 Missions Small Business Blast that is coming up right around Thanksgiving. So talk to us about what that event is.
So 3 Missions Small Business Blast is going to be on Black Friday, November 26th at 3 Missions Brewery from 3 to 10 p.m. Obviously, Black Friday is the biggest shopping day of the year. Everybody's out spending their money. And our idea is to try and get some of those dollars to be spent locally with some local vendors and local providers here in El Paso. We've got a lot of great opportunity and a lot of great vendors that will be out there to be able to bring some good quality stuff to people. We're partnering up with Alzheimer's Association, my good buddy Mike here, as well as El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank, and the Toys for Tots as well. So it's a great, big old amazing event, shall we say.
Absolutely. And so, Mike, what you got working on, of course, with the Alzheimer's Association of El Paso, we've talked to Gail previously about some of the other events, but being a part of this, what specifically are you wanting to do, what wanting people to know to get out there with?
So the best part about being partnered up with Dan is that Dan has been very helpful with wanting to help out with fundraisers. Obviously, the fundraisers go into research and care and support and all the different programs that we have with the West Texas chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. But this event, in particular, 50% of the tickets are going to come to the Alzheimer's Association as a bit of a fundraiser. And it's in a great place over at 3 Missions Brewery down in Socorro, right next to Casa Ortiz. They've got a great art gallery out over there as well. And again, we can't stress how important it is for these funds, right? Like these funds go into, like I said, all the care, all the support, research, things of that nature. But 75% of the funds stay here in El Paso. So if it's raised here, it stays here, and it goes to help out with some of the support groups and things that we have. With the holidays coming up, it could be such a stressful time for us who don't have, any illnesses or something like that. It's tenfold that for people who are caregivers. And what we're trying to do is grow our caregiver network and our support for those caregivers and people like that. And this blast, the 915 Thrive 915 blast, will actually help out with all the stuff that we need to do as well. And most importantly, get the Alzheimer's Association out there, showing people look, we're not just stationary on one side of town. We are all over West Texas. There's 81 counties that the West Texas chapter of the Alzheimer's Association is responsible for.
Okay.
And this right here is just one of the events that we're trying to do to, kind of blow everything up as we get ready for the next year.
The whole idea behind it is just trying to get as much, get Alzheimer's Association and Toys for Tots and El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank in front of as many eyes as possible, get as much exposure for these partners as possible. Like Mike said, 50% of admission is going directly to them. Admission is only $5, so it's not going to be expensive to get in by any means. We're going to have some local high school bands are going to come out and perform, hopefully having some good, headlining bands, shall we say, at the end of the night, right? Trying to find the word. 3 Missions Brewery is going to have a VIP beer release party as well.
Okay.
So it's going to be a good time. We've got 4 or 5 food trucks lined up. Social Ice is going to be there. Tacos El Gomez is going to be there. So we're really, really excited. Casa del Humo, they're kind of sort of the resident food truck there. Okay. So we'll have some barbecue, have some tacos, have some good dessert. El Ceviche Loco Midland is also going to be there as well. And then we've got a whole bunch of dessert vendors and treats vendors and things of that nature. So hopefully it's going to be a great time.
Yep, definitely. I expect that it will be, given what you all have done in the past and how these things work. And so this is something that we're coming up again, Black Friday, like you said, which is the 26th of this coming month here, November. So when it comes to, if people want to be involved in this, we talked some about the participatory aspects of it, but if people still want to be involved, among other things, you're still seeking vendors and still seeking sponsors even, right?
Absolutely. So we could definitely use some more arts and crafts vendors, gift vendors, bag vendors, clothing vendors, things of that nature, even informational vendors. If you've got a company and you want to spread your message, contact us. thrive915foodfest@gmail.com is where to send us a message and we'll get you information. As far as sponsorship, yes, we definitely need funding to pull this off. It's a community effort. We're trying to do it and raise money as much as we possibly can. So obviously we do have some expenses that do need to be covered. So definitely sponsorship for sure. People can donate, people can message us and get involved any way they possibly can for sure.
And again, Thrive915foodfest@gmail.com or the Facebook page, Thrive915 Food Fest, because this comes out of, and we're kind of partnered with you all as well on talking about the events that you have going on and what you have, particularly with local business mixers, which have been a very important opportunity. I've enjoyed going to those just myself to have those conversations with local businesses. So this hits on a few different levels here. And again, if you're just joining us, guests right now are Michael Tipton, the constituent events manager with the Alzheimer's Association, and Dan Morales, founder of Thrive 915 Food Fest. Again, to find all of that, Tip, what's the best way for them to find your information for the Alzheimer's Association?
Our website is always the best one to go to, alz.org, as the best way. It automatically goes by your zip code. We know how, computers and stuff like that work. So it'll get you to the West Texas chapter that way. You can also find us on Facebook. We have our Facebook group, West Texas chapter, Alzheimer's Association, El Paso group. It's a long name, but you will find it there. And of course, our main Facebook page, the West Texas chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. So Alzheimer's Association, West Texas chapter.
Okay, and again, all talking about this in reference to the upcoming 3 Missions Small Business Blast happening on, again, Black Friday, the 26th of this month, and that's going to be at the 3 Missions Brewery, which is 10179 Socorro Road. It's actually pretty easy to get to because basically you get off the loop down there in the valley and you hit on Socorro Road, and it's kind of near, even kind of convenient bend right past the Socorro Mission itself, right?
About a block down the road or so.
Right? Yeah, you're right down in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, absolutely, which is why I've run into you there before as well. So that's the talking about this in the event itself, how it's going to support things, all very important, but it goes even a little bit deeper than that in my mind, because given this season and all the stuff going on in the world, I mean, we've all seen the pictures of things like, the fun backup of just tons and tons of literal cargo sitting on boats in harbors waiting to be moved. There's been some consternation among our audience about, okay, what is it going to mean for this holiday season? And one of the responses I've seen coming out increasingly is, okay, if you're worried about not getting the latest, console or video game or big national toy, think about buying local. Think about supporting local, because they're going to have stuff. They're going to be making stuff here locally, and it will go. You don't have to worry about the supply chain at that point because you're getting it locally.
Absolutely. Truer words could not have been spoken. Our local vendors here are stockpiled and ready to rock and roll and ready to sell big and supply as much as they possibly can, from toys and treats and goods to bags and clothing and shoes and anything else that you can possibly think of.
And it's also a great opportunity to actually learn what else is out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we all get so caught up in going to the bigger chain stores and stuff of that nature. And I've recently been with this thing of I want to go to as many local places as I can, because ultimately through the pandemic, all the stuff that we've been going through, those are the ones that need our help the most, right? So I've been surprised with the stuff that you find in some of these places. And you sit there and you think to yourself, man, these are like gold mines, but no one knows about them. And to me, it's kind of just opening up and broadening your horizons a bit.
Yeah, just like some of even our show sponsors here, to be perfectly honest. But it kind of takes it further on home of the phrase that I've seen coming out as well as, well, American made means that you don't have to, doesn't have to get shipped here, doesn't have to be on a boat. So take that even further and say if you buy local, it doesn't even have to come here on a truck or anything like that. You're getting it from the person making it here. So that's an important factor here. And so alongside with that, also, of course, with this season, very focused on, giving and giving back as well, which is why it's an important focus to have, again, Toys for Tots, El Paso's Fighting Hunger, but then also, of course, the Alzheimer's Association. So when it comes to, for you all, particularly in this season, you mentioned about some support for the caregivers who have a lot on their plate regularly, but even particularly can be almost harder for some people in those circumstances during this kind of time of year when there is that kind of added expectation as well. So when it comes to that, what do people need to know about, giving kind of during this season? or even just being more aware still is an important factor when it comes to issues like this.
So for me, the most important thing with the Alzheimer's Association is learning that we're there. For such a long period of time, even as a volunteer, I didn't know certain programs with the Alzheimer's Association. And it's no, consternation on the people that were running it before. It was just that, something's going to get lost in the crack. So my job is to say, okay, this is what we have available. This is the programs that we have. Here's warning signs and things like that you need to look for. And everyone, always confuses it as like it's an old person's disease. I don't look at 50 as old.
No.
And I have a friend whose wife just passed away at 52 years old, battled Alzheimer's for 10 years. And that's a crazy thing with this disease is it's not one size fits all. It can be, a couple year battle, or it could be a 20-year battle. It just depends on how it affects the individual that's got it, unfortunately. So those are the things that we're trying to, kind of break those molds of what people think Alzheimer's is and what people think the Alzheimer's Association does. We're not just out here like, go grabbing for money and stuff like that. That's not our main goal. Our main goal is to show people we are here. Here's how we can support you. We have so many programs that it's hard for me to, try to remember them and just rattle them off the top of my head. But we have community educators. We have a forum coming up right after our event on Black Friday on December 3rd, if I could just talk about that for a second. That's going to be held at Texas Tech. Now we're flying in like guest speakers and stuff like that to help train people on how to, physicians, to help train physicians on how to treat somebody with Alzheimer's. That's huge.
Education is key on it.
And that's the main thing is just going out and showing that education. So whenever we have our booth out there at the Thrive 915 Small Business Blast at a Three Missions Brewery, we're going to have pamphlets and we're going to have as much information as we can. And that's our main goal. And that's why I didn't want to have like a booth trying to do fundraisers. It's to get out there and actually show people everything we have.
And I think that support aspect is, again, awareness and the support, because I think people, particularly, I've been covering this issue for more of a decade now, and the impact on caregivers is not insignificant, and particularly the fact that you don't have to then just grin and bear it on your own as this is just, the burden to bear and no one else can help me. That is the least true thing about almost anything being said about this disease or the conceptions of it, because there is that support out there. And so just coming and getting this information again at the event is, if people only do that, that would be a huge success, I'm sure.
No, that's all I care about. Just come out, get a little bit of education, learn, if you have somebody in your family that has Alzheimer's, learn the proper ways of having to deal with them, and the most important ways of making sure that they are taken care of. And if you're a caregiver for somebody, come out and get the support from us, because that's the most important thing you can do, is knowing you have someone there for you. It's already a lonely battle to fight on its own. You shouldn't have to do it alone.
Absolutely, because the support here, again, almost more than any other issue we've talked about, is absolutely critical. Again, talking about all this in reference to the upcoming Three Missions Small Business Blast that's going to be happening on Black Friday, which is the 26th of this month. Again, at the Three Missions Brewery, which is at 10179 Socorro Road. They are currently looking for vendors and sponsors. So beyond the very important awareness and what it goes to support, including Toys for Tots, El Paso's Fighting Hunger, and the Alzheimer's Association, you can go out there and get your Christmas shopping done. So this is a whole lot of things going into this. So to find all that information, you can find the Thrive 915 Food Fest on Facebook with their events. Also email them, thrive915foodfest@gmail.com. I'll be going out there. I know that because I got to go check this out as well. And again, guests right now have been Michael Tipton, the constituent events manager with the Alzheimer's Association of El Paso, and Dan Morales, founder of Thrive 915. Thank you all very much for coming out here, talking to us about the event, what's going on during it, what it means for everything going on, and of course the important organizations involved here today. So thank you all very much for talking to us about that.
Absolutely, man. It's our pleasure for being here. Thanks for having us, Andrew. I want to give a couple shout outs if I can. Mayan Solar of El Paso, Mr. Joe Loya has been fantastic helping us build everything that we have going on. So thank you, Joe. You're great. Down in Roxy with Social Ice, they're also fantastic as well. Marco with Clever Tea, he's also been helping out fantastically. And then last thing I just want to say with the food bank, it's not just going to be donations that we're accepting. We're also going to be accepting monetary donations, and they're also going to be doing a volunteer drive for people to volunteer at the food bank. That is also a big situation where people don't know that they need it drastically. And for every dollar that is donated, it makes 7 meals. So that's something very big. And Toys for Tots, we're going to be collecting new unwrapped toys. So donations for Toys for Tots and the food bank will get raffle tickets for some great raffles, some great items that we've had donated so far.
Important other things to keep in mind there, absolutely. So thank you all very much for talking with us. We got to take that break right now. So coming back from the break, we'll get to more of those comments and calls on the line. That number to call, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Back after this break with more Talk El Paso here on News Radio 690 KTSM. With all the holidays coming up, you can have a lot on your plate, metaphorically and literally, Thanksgiving and beyond here. So with all the hecticness that comes with preparing for that otherwise joyful family time together, something that you don't have to worry about is where to go when you have those minor medical emergencies, those day disruptors that, as particularly you're planning for what you're going to be doing with family, friends, and loved ones, can be even that much more distressing. So take the worry out of it by keeping in mind Upper Valley Urgent Care Center. They're there nights, weekends, holidays, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week at 121 East Red Road. Able to take care of those day disruptors, those aches, breaks, sprains, bruises, sniffles, coughs, testing, vaccinations, all of it under one roof with 20 exam rooms. Dr. Carpenter and his team ready to take you on with no appointments needed, walk-in basis. So again, 121 East Red Road, celebrating their 15th anniversary this season, Upper Valley Urgent Care Center.
El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM.
I'm Justin Cree with your CBS 4 News Update. Doñana County officials are saying that there is clues in the death of a woman whose body was found in the desert in Doñana County. Photos were captured by surveillance cameras at the Paso del Norte Bridge. The sheriff's office says Caroline Cherry crossed the border by herself back on October 8th. A week later, her body was found in the desert known as the Quarry near Mesquite. Investigators say Cherry was not from the area. The sheriff's office is asking anyone who knows anything about the final days of her life to call them right away. Amazon is looking to hire up to 500 full-time positions in El Paso. The people who are hired will work at the new fulfillment center near Rojas and East Lake in Far East El Paso. Starting wages is at least $15 an hour. Amazon is holding hiring events during the next several weeks, and we do have all that information posted on our website, cbs4local.com. With your CBS 4 News Update, I'm Justin Cree.
News Radio 690. Traffic all day.
There's some traffic to look out for on Lee Trevino Drive northbound between Rojas and Pebble Hills. Also, there's still some heavy traffic on Paisano Drive southbound between Santa Fe Street and Boone. And there's an accident that could cause some delays on Montana Avenue just east of McRae Boulevard. And the off-ramp is closed on the Loop 375 southbound at Alameda Avenue. I'm Marie Jourdain with traffic.
From the KFOX 14 Severe Weather Center, this is Chief Meteorologist Sandra Diaz. So we had our cooler air move in, and that left us with a much cooler day today, but with plenty of sunshine, it didn't feel too bad. But nonetheless, tonight, we're back in the 40s for your overnight lows, so another cold night on tap, followed by a warming trend as we get closer to the weekend. We could even see the return of temperature highs near 80.
This report is sponsored by DuckDuckGo. Protect your privacy for free with DuckDuckGo.
Your life, your hopes, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m. It's really none of our business, and it shouldn't be anyone else's. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Are you Medicare eligible? Do you have questions about your benefits and how they can work? Advocate Health Advisors can help you understand all the benefits you qualify for, including dental, vision, hearing, and transportation, just to name a few. They can provide you with a no-cost, no-obligation review. To get more information about your options, please contact Eric and Angie Lowenberg with Advocate Health Advisors in El Paso at 1-800-876-0214. That's 1-800-876-0214. Hey folks, this is Andrew J. Polk. As the days get shorter, you don't want to get caught in the spooky situation of not knowing where to go to get quality medical care and services when you need it. From the routine to minor medical emergencies, my go-to is Dr. Alan Carpenter and his team at Upper Valley Urgent Care Center. From shots and testing to aches, sprains, breaks, and the rest of the unplanned parts of your day, they're at the ready with walk-ins accepted 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week at 121 East Red Road. Celebrating their 15th anniversary this fall, Upper Valley Urgent Care Center.
Are you covered by Medicare and Medicaid? Well, El Paso Health Plus is the plan for you. As a local Medicare Advantage plan, we can offer our members more. Call us at 833-742-3125 or EPHmedicare.com. El Paso Health Plus.
Lowe's Provember event is back. And they're thanking pros like you all month long with top values on pro brands like DeWalt and Spyder online or in stores through November 24th. Lowe's, the new home for pros, U.S. only. This report is sponsored by Lowe's.
Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working. Who, me? Text and whatever, just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, call 915-544-KTSM or follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be doing so, on air, online, live streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the social media pages, including facebook.com/Talk El Paso, the Talk El Paso channel on YouTube, Twitter at Talk El Paso, and Twitch, which is Andrew J. Polk, because, yeah, why not? Trying to be in as much places, have as wide of a net for that conversation that I think is the most important part, as we have John Hirsch, Barbara Carrasco, Calvin Williams, Michael Perez, and John Brazelton chiming in, at least mainly over on the Facebook page here. A lot of stuff already being discussed here, including some stuff about national elections, but also John Hirsch letting us know that he missed yesterday's show, but is very glad himself that parents woke up and denied the school bond, and then connecting some disparate ideas, at least in my mind, when it comes to that and the, yes, I've heard the phrase, the Brandon administration, which, well, maybe we'll get into that tomorrow there, because we are, of course, coming up on the cusp of Free for All Friday when we'll take those calls throughout the show. But even now, at this point, we are going to be taking those calls through the end of the hour here, so through the rest of the show. So if you want to call, that number to do so, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Again, thanks to our guests from the previous segment there, talking about that upcoming Thrive 915 small business blasts. A lot of discussion happening about the impacts of supply chain. So I don't think that's a minor one to consider. Okay, what are you going to do when it comes to actually getting the stuff that you need, or just supplies, or, you know, the gifts, particularly the gifts? That's the important one, I think, and what a lot of people might be feeling the impact with is. So we've got a lot of events coming up, including, Christmas fairs, Junior League, et cetera, et cetera. But this is the one that organization I like and I've gone to. So we're happy to give them the shout out here. But again, get into those calls. That number to do so, 915-544-5876. 544-KTSM, along with the comments if any more want to chime in. But right now we do have Barbara on the west side with us. Barbara, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Andrew, for taking my call. I really appreciate the two guests that you had. We lost my mom to Alzheimer's. And I'll just add a few things. Alzheimer's takes your parents away or your loved ones twice. The first time is when they no longer recognize or you miss their spirit. And the second time is when they pass away. That's the final loss.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I appreciate what those two men are doing. But what I want to talk about today is Biden's awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And we recall when the U.S. and the U.K. entered an agreement with Australia for the Australia with the nuclear submarines. France was so incensed that Macron recalled the ambassadors to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And now that Biden was in Glasgow, he met with Macron, and he basically told him that he wasn't fully aware of what had happened, that he thought that France had known about these transactions long before they happened. And Macron's response to that was, well, we'll try to rebuild trust. So that really says a lot about President Biden's awareness there. And then I want to talk about the press that the president had yesterday, where he was asked if he didn't feel that $450,000 per person was an incentive for more illegal immigrants to come in our country. And I watched his facial expression closely. And he said, well, yes, if the press keeps putting out that garbage, of course illegal immigrants will come to the United States. And so Biden says to stop putting the garbage out there, and that it's not going to happen. They're not going to pay the $450,000 per person. Well, quickly, in a matter of minutes, the ACLU had their statement out there. People, they want their money. The ACLU said that Biden was not aware of his own administration's negotiations regarding settlement with them. And then I would encourage everybody to go online and read their statement, because they're already pressuring the president regarding the $450,000. And I guess what I want everybody to get out of this is if President Biden didn't know about the submarine, doesn't know about the $450,000 payment per person, what does he know about the reconciliation bill? Is he aware that there are millions and millions and millions of dollars for amnesty there? Or that they were quick to take the family leave and medical pay out of the bill, but now it's back in the bill? And is he aware that the IRS, they wanted to hire 80,000 new agents to snoop into our bank accounts starting at $600, but now they raised that to $10,000? I mean, there is so much that I fear this president has no idea, and he's being snowed by his own administration. And it is so sad that he is being abused. That's how I feel. I feel this president at this point in time is being abused by those who surround him. Because these are big, big incidents, not knowing about the $450,000, not knowing about France. And I mean, how many people in the Congress actually know what's in the bill? If they don't know, President Biden is surely not aware of what's in there. So I think we need to be vigilant, and we need to start asking questions, and we need to be up front with this, and, you know, call our congressmen, call our senators and say, you guys need to be out in front of the news media, bringing these matters up so that President Biden, maybe he'll hear it at a presser if he's not hearing it in his own circle. Maybe you'll be asked these tough questions. So there's a lot of concern on my part for our president.
I mean, absolutely. There's a lot of important subjects there. It just one of the stupider things I know, but that whole partnership between the US, UK, and Australia has been labeled just the most appropriate name for how the situation came out, AUKUS. A-UK-US, AUKUS. Because, yeah, it's awkward as heck now, isn't it, that whole situation? And, yeah, alienating literally one of our oldest allies as a nation. We're really dumb. And then on your last point there about how many people have actually read the bill, know what's in it, given the length of it, I mean, I believe estimates vary that I've seen, but between hundreds and thousands at this point. It's not small by any means. And I'm recalling then the Read the Bills Act that has been proposed, I believe, every Congress since 2012, usually by Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, but a couple others have also mentioned it there. All have died in committee, or last check actually was referred to committee, but that didn't even make it through. So if you've ever actually tried to sit down and read any piece of modern legislation coming out, you need a variety of degrees and specialties to even get through them. So to anticipate that anyone actually involved with it has actually, I mean, this is why they have to have staffers. And yeah, and then on that ACLU committee response, ACLU Executive Director Anthony D. Romero had the following response. This is from their site that President Biden may not have been fully briefed about the actions of his very own Justice Department as it carefully deliberated and considered the crimes committed against thousands of families separated from their children as an intentional government policy. But if he follows through on what he said, the president is abandoning a core campaign promise to do justice for the thousands of separated families. So it also goes on for a bit longer, saying that we call on President Biden to right the wrongs of this national tragedy. Again, this being the statement from the ACLU on that decision. I mean, it was always a proposed thing, and clearly a lot of pressure coming from outside the administration on that point as well. But I don't see, I mean, if there are settlements happening individually based on the cases, that's one thing. It's one of the reasons the previous administration had to deal with certain policies relating to child detention because of settlements that have been reached in previous years. So that's one thing, but this as a policy, just moving forward, blanket, whatever you think about the justice of the individual situations, that I think pretty clearly would have some serious ramifications, because even as we're discussing it here, half the time people bring it up as everyone crossing would get it. No, it's just for the ones that were under the child separation, but that nuance gets pretty quickly lost in the conversation, doesn't? And I can't imagine a much better marketing point for the cartels and the coyotes that we've already been having their own struggles with the cross messaging on going forward there. So it just messed up in a variety of ways, but we'll have to talk about that more here in a minute because we are overdue for a break. So coming back from the break, getting to more of those comments and calls on the line again. That number to call, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Back after this break with more Talk El Paso here on News Radio 690 KTSM. It may not be October, but that doesn't mean that being aware of your health, and particularly breast cancer awareness, is any less important. And in fact, in support of that, locally based Therapeutics and Thermography Inc., which you can find inside Biometrics, the Blue Sign building over at 935 Sunland Park Drive, which is just west of I-10 in Sunland Park, so really easy to find. They are continuing their offer of those $50 off all breast thermograms through the end of the year. So if you want to claim that for yourself and take a little bit more charge of one aspect of your health, you can find them by calling 915-401-4053. That's 915-401-4053, or visit them online at elpasothermography.com. That's El Paso, TheRemography.com. Another tool in your arsenal of maintaining, tracking, and being aware of your health, because particularly when situations like this involving breast cancer or even other conditions, early detection can be almost as good as prevention, because if you can get it early, things go a lot better. Ask someone in your life who has had to deal with it, and you'll know that early detection, absolutely one of the better ways to do it. So again, elpasothermography.com or 915-401-4053.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
There's some heavy traffic on Dyer Street northbound between Alameda Avenue and Trowbridge. Also look out for an accident on Montana Avenue just east of McRae Boulevard. And there's a medical emergency that could cause some delays on Richgreen Boulevard at Edgemere. You could try taking Tierra Este Road and Pebble Hills to get by. And the on-ramp is closed on the Loop 375 southbound at North Loop Drive. I'm Marie Jourdain with traffic.
This report is sponsored by DuckDuckGo. Protect your privacy for free with DuckDuckGo.
Your life, your hopes, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m. It's really none of our business, and it shouldn't be anyone else's. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
In the 90s, Bruce Willis couldn't avoid the spotlight until he discovered a tiny mountain town. On the podcast Haleywood, discover what happened when Hollywood glamour collided with the small town values of Haley, Idaho.
It's a tale people close to Bruce Willis have never been keen on telling, but it's a story the people of Haley are recounting in detail for the very first time.
Listen to Haleywood, that's Hailey, on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Brought to you by DuckDuckGo. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo.
Don't miss out on Talk El Paso Monday through Friday, 4 to 5 p.m., breaking down the big stories right here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Brought to you in part by Therapeutics and Thermography. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk, live weekdays on Talk El Paso on News Radio 690 KTSM.
Hi, this is Rick from the Air Conditioning Company. The cold air is coming, so now's the time to get your furnace working right. If your unit's more than 20 years old, it's inefficient and doesn't have the new safety devices. The new furnaces are more efficient and pay for themselves. Act now and get the best prices of the year and save up to 25%. Our expert techs can put money back in your pocket. Call 842-8615 today or log on to airconditioningcompanyllc.com. The Air Conditioning Company. You'll love our company. License number 26622E.
Hi, Phil Swift here. When that next storm is barreling down, get prepared with the Flex Seal family of products. Floods can destroy your home. Push Flex Base deep into cracks and holes to help prevent flooding. Seal doors and windows, patch leaky roofs and downspouts. Remember, when that storm is coming your way, keep your family safe and dry. Be prepared with the Flex Seal family of products. Available at FlexSealProducts.com and fine retailers.
During Lowe's Provember event, new members of their Pro Loyalty program get a welcome kit via mail, and every member gets a chance to win amazing prizes. Provember, now through November 24th. Lowe's, the new home for pros.
Monterey Asset Management, superior multifamily property management services citywide.
News Radio 690 KTSM.
We've been seeing some of those reports about those freezes starting across the nation and even starting to creep into our region, our broadcast area here. Not for the El Paso, Las Cruces area just yet, but this is the perfect time to consider if you think you're that heater or heating system, HVAC, all of it. It's going to be up to snuff for what we can expect this coming season. Two major considerations you should have, both the safety and efficiency of it and the cost that's going to go into it, because safety and efficiency goes hand in hand, particularly when you start getting aged units. They don't have the safety features that current ones do, and they cost more to operate. And therefore, as we're looking at whatever the heck is going on with energy costs, it's something you want to keep in mind because it can hit you in your pocketbook in a variety of ways. So if you want to get in the locking in the best prices of the year and save as much as 25% on all of this, you should call local HVAC experts at the Air Conditioning Company, LLC. You can call them at 915-842-8615, 915-842-8615, or log on to airconditioningcompanyllc.com. That's airconditioningcompanyllc.com.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, call 915-544-KTSM or follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk. Bunch of ways to interact with the show. Of course, we've got the phone line, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. You got to get that 915 in there nowadays because that's how local phone systems work now. So 915-544-5876. Take a couple more calls here before the end of the hour. Do, of course, have to mention Talk El Paso, brought to you in part by Monterey Asset Management. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, consider investing in real estate. Monterey manages apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. Check out their new website, m1ep.com. That's m1ep.com. To learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate, call Certified Property Manager Ray Baca at 915-592-4549. That's 915-592-4549. Thank you to our sponsors. Please support them as they support us in our mission to continue having the discussion here with Live Local Talk Radio on the Borderland because we think we deserve it. So squeezing in a couple more calls here before we hit the end of the hour. But just as a reminder, we are approaching the end of the week. Tomorrow will be calls throughout the hour. And so particularly if you want to get in those pound 250 calls, which you can leave us day or night by calling pound 250, those four symbols on your cell phone. Then when prompted, say the keyword Talk El Paso. You can leave a message here, as we also have over on the Facebook page, Barbara Carrasco, Calvin Williams, Michael Perez, Louis Panado, Dottie Butler Torres, and more chiming in. More from a little bit earlier, John Hertz, and a little bit further earlier. A lot of stuff we're talking about here today, and again, we'll continue that on. But getting a couple more here before the end of the show. We do have Tony on the west side right now. Tony, thanks for joining us.
Hey, good afternoon. Barbara. You and the rest of the Republicans, please listen up. Barbara, I know you. You know me. I love you like a sister. We're on the same political page, but you will never, never make a dent in the Democratic mindset with the approach that you and the rest of the Republicans and so forth are using. Let me tell you what their three idols are. Greenpeace, the green movement, the saving the earth thing. Number two, social justice. And number three, economic equality. Through government, through bigger government. Unless we can address that and lay an axe at the root, they don't care what you're saying. They don't care if Biden is pooping his pants, if he's dribbling at the mouth, if he's an idiot. They don't care. As a matter of fact, they prefer him that way because their movement has nothing to do with prosperity of Americans. It has to do with saving the earth and social justice and reparations. And listen to Ocasio-Cortez. Listen to the two Muslim chicks that are trying to destroy Israel through the Congress. Listen to Black Lives Matter speakers. Listen to those people, the Antifa, and then you'll understand where they're coming from. You keep missing the boat. That's why we're losing. That's why the Republican leadership is worthless. They don't understand their enemy. Now, that being said, this thing about charity, can I have another minute?
If you can briefly, yeah.
I got to tell you, okay, now, every Christmas, there's a lot of charity and the spirit of giving, yada, yada, yada. That's all good. But if you're a Christian, listen carefully, 80% of you are Christian. If you're a Christian, your first priority is charity to the house of the believers, meaning other Christians. And guess what? The majority of need of your Christian brothers and sisters are across the border. Here in El Paso, there's 10 different places where people can get charity. Even the rescue mission throws away some of what they get. If you really want to donate, and if they give me permission on this station, I will give the number tomorrow of a charitable 501c where we can take food across the border to deserving, repentive, spirit-filled Christians who are your brothers and sisters in the greater need than El Paso residents. Think about it. I know it's not popular what I'm saying, but pray about it tonight and you'll see we need to get some food together for this Christmas for across the border for our brothers and sisters. Thanks for your time.
I mean, sure thing. I mean, there's a lot of need out there, and I guess I don't find it useful personally to say like, well, this need is, I mean, there are needs of variety of ways and severities, particularly when you're talking like the hierarchy of needs when we're not even living the base level for some people. Do whatever works best for you. I think that's what it really comes down to. And the difference between asking the government to do it and asking individually is that you have the choice to do and work with what's important to you. So if this is, send me that message, Andrew Polk at iHeartMedia.com, and I'll be happy to take a look at it and particularly talk about it tomorrow here. So we can talk. I think we have time for one more quick one. We got Andrew on the west side. Andrew, we got about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I won't be able to get all my information out, but just to let people know, hey, Andrew, did you hear about Igor Danchenko getting arrested by the feds? That's all I got to say. Have a good afternoon.
Yeah, I believe related to the very infamous Steele dossier there. A lot more to get into that particularly, but we'll do it again tomorrow, 4 to 5 p.m. right here on News Radio 690 KTSM. I've been your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thanks for tuning in, calling, commenting, however you've done it here. A lot of different comments, and we'll delve all into that tomorrow. So get those pound 250 calls in if you so desire, or be live 4 to 5 p.m. right here on News Radio 690 KTSM. We're done for the day. Stay safe out there. Look twice for motorcycles down the road, and have a great evening, y'all. See you tomorrow.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
There's some heavy traffic on Dyer Street northbound between Alameda Avenue and Trowbridge. Also look out for an accident on Montana Avenue just east of McRae Boulevard. And there's a medical emergency that could cause some delays on Richgreen Boulevard at Edgemere. You could try taking Tierra Este Road and Pebble Hills to get by. And the on-ramp is closed on the Loop 375 southbound at North Loop Drive. I'm Marie Jourdain with traffic.
Hey folks, this is Andrew J. Polk. As the days get shorter, you don't want to get caught in the spooky situation of not knowing where to go to get quality medical care and services when you need it. From the routine to minor medical emergencies, my go-to is Dr. Alan Carpenter and his team at Upper Valley Urgent Care Center. From shots and testing to aches, sprains, breaks, and the rest of the unplanned parts of your day, they're at the ready with walk-ins accepted 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week at 121 East Red Road. Celebrating their 15th anniversary this fall, Upper Valley Urgent Care Center.
I realized that I had depression when everything was going great for me, professionally, creatively, in my relationship, but I was on the cusp of tears with even the simplest of tasks. It wasn't an event that made me sad, it was just being. Then I found out that over 350 million people around the world are affected by depression. It's time we talk about mental health. Go to iHeartRadio.com/talk for tips on how to start the conversation. This has been brought to you by NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and iHeartMedia.
The most current and comprehensive. Just minutes away at the top and bottom of the hour. And always online at KTSMradio.com. News on the hour and a half.
Why do you
Traffic
say something?
and weather all
I do
day.
say-
News Radio 690 is KTSM AM El Paso, an iHeart radio station.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. The White House is trying to help push the social spending bill over the finish line in the House. Deputy Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said the sweeping measure will provide economic relief for the middle class. And she added that the measure is paid for
by having big corporations and the wealthiest taxpayer pay their fair share.
The White House is backpedaling after President Biden denied a report that the government is planning on paying migrant families who were separated at the border. On Wednesday, Biden called the report, saying his administration plans to pay $450,000 to migrant families garbage, adding that's not going to happen. On Thursday, the ACLU refuted Biden's claim, saying they're negotiating the payments with the Department of Justice. The Justice Department is suing Texas over its new election law. Attorney General Merrick Garland says SB 1 violates the Voting Rights Act and Civil Rights Act by making it harder for people to vote. The suit specifically mentions new restrictions on poll booth assistance to the disabled, along with some mail ballot rules. Productivity in the American labor market is hitting a level not seen in 40 years. Lisa Taylor reports.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics says it dropped 5% between July and September. The rise of the coronavirus Delta variant is being blamed, and so are issues with the nation's supply chain. BLS also reported output rose just under 2%, while the number of hours worked went up 7%.
A new report says a grand jury is being convened in New York City to look into the Trump Organization. The Washington Post says the grand jury in Manhattan will look into the financial endeavors of the company. Those familiar with the situation tell the paper the panel will meet 3 days a week. A previous grand jury ended up charging Alan Weisselberg. He was the former president's chief financial officer, and he was hit with tax evasion charges. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio. A new study says Meta, formerly